Remember, Iron Keep? Fighting the same enemy 200 times wasn't very fun, right? Well, great news for you, now you get to fight 200 times 3 different enemies instead. Sounds great, right? Well, no, not really. Oh, and we replaced the lava with pools of water with infinite depths in which you can fall to your death, and also you don't see them very well, so you can fall accidentally all the time throughout the area. Amazing, right? Now, the video could be over right now, but we still have to talk about the atmosphere, the music, the level design, and the boss of the area. First, let's talk about the atmosphere. Now, contrary to a lot of places in Dark Souls 2, this one is surprisingly colorful. And I mean, of course, if you look at Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3, there's a lot of shades of grey and brown. It's not very colorful, which makes sense considering both worlds are dying worlds, you know? But at the same time, going through Grayish area number 1, then Grayish area number 2, and then Grayish area number 20 doesn't feel great. Now, in Dark Souls 2, this becomes bad in like the Harvest Valley. Outside of that, the other biomes and areas are fine, but they always are missing some colors to make the thing more appealing, you know? And here, this area is very appealing, because there's a lot of blue and green, which we haven't seen that much before. It's a really nice change, although it is a bit bright at times. But I'm being picky here. Visually, the Shrine of Amana is good, very good. Additionally, for the music, and also for the atmosphere, we get to hear some really good singing throughout the level, which makes the exploration much more enjoyable. It never gets tiring, you know? Sometimes in some games you can like a music at first, and if you hear it too many times, it can become annoying, which is not the case here, in my opinion. Maybe some people disagree with that, but for me it was good. Now, I say it makes the exploration much more enjoyable, because fighting the same enemies again and again quickly becomes tedious. And as I said, there are 3 of them. So you have the melee guys, you have the weird monsters that are in the water and they jump after you and you don't really see them coming, and then you have those sorts of priestess that shoot magic beams at you. Those 3 enemies combined are really annoying. The enemies that are camouflaged are annoying because sometimes you're busy fighting another enemy and they're going to jump at you from behind, especially when there are several of them. The melee guys are fine to fight, but when there are 2 or 3 or 4 of them at the same time, it's really annoying to fight them. And the priestess are the most annoying of all, because they keep shooting and shooting and shooting, and that beam deals so much damage, and they shoot it from so far away, it's crazy. When you're busy fighting 3-4 enemies and they're shooting at you at the same time, it's so frustrating, honestly. Like, those 3 enemies in design are good, but putting so many of them all around the map is just no. This area could have been so much more enjoyable if they just reduced slightly the number of enemies here. They really need to change that in a remake, because honestly, I went through the area once, I don't wanna try it again, and of course, once you're done with an area, you have no point in coming back, but you can still think, well, I want to go back just to experience it again. Well, for this place, I don't think anyone would want to go back and try it again, because it's just so annoying, which is sad. And also, add the fact that you need to constantly watch where you step to not fall to your death, and it really becomes necessary to have the singing to make the place better. Because finally being able to go through a good bunch of the area, only to die by falling in the infinite depths water, that is the ultimate frustration, honestly. Without the singing, I think a lot of people would have turned their PC into a box of scraps really fast while going through this place. And even with the singing, some people might have already done that. Now, outside of the magicians, the soldiers, and the lake monsters, you also get to fight mini-bosses here and there. You have a troll, you have a dragon rider, which are fine encounters. It's pretty nice that they put them there. If you take the Earthen Peak, for example, it lacks a mini-boss halfway through. Here, the presence of the troll and the dragon riders makes the area slightly better, because, you know, fighting the 3 same enemies over and over again gets tedious and annoying, and having to fight those 2 mini-bosses halfway through it brings some change. It's nice. There is a few optional paths leading to some treasures, but the area is still mostly fighting the same guys again and again, and falling to your death once or twice, which is sad. For once, when we were finally able to explore a huge and beautiful area, they had to put that many enemies to ruin the experience. Ah. On one end, they could reduce the number of enemies, on the other end, I feel like this place could have a bit more fauna, like, I don't know, a flying enemy, a fish enemy, or maybe some kind of environmental challenge. Maybe the ideas I'm giving are not great ideas, but I'm giving them just to explain that there are possibilities. You don't have to copy-paste the same 3 enemies all over the place. You can bring some change outside of the mini-bosses, I mean. It's totally possible, and I wish they would do that in a remake. Now let's talk about the boss, the Demon of Song. Design-wise, it's probably my favorite enemy design in Dark Souls 2. Like, fighting a giant frog demon feels really cool, especially when we always fight the same unoriginal enemy archetype in video games. Oh, a demon, so he has horns and wings and hooves, and he has a sword and he's flaming. Now, Souls games, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, have some very original enemies, and even other games outside of the Souls series like Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring, they have a lot of good enemies, original enemies, which is not the case for every game in the gaming industry. There are always some sort of enemy archetype that come back again and again, and seeing something like a frog demon feels good, because we aren't that used to such incredible and unique kind of design. It's so cool and creative, you want to see what kind of other monsters they have in store for you after this point. Gameplay-wise, it has a few impressive moves, the damage is really significant, but its one and only mechanic isn't used properly in my opinion. The frog can cover its weak face with a thick skin, rendering itself invulnerable for a short time. The idea is really cool, like the idea that it can cover its face with invulnerable skin, it's a good idea. The problem here is that the demon doesn't attack when he covers his face, and then before attacking it uncovers it, so that means that you can't attack it when it has its face covered, makes sense, but it's also not attacking you, so it just pauses the fight, and it breaks the flow of the fight, quite simply, which is not a good thing at all. And after that, when it's attacking you, you have to dodge, of course you can't attack it, I mean you can attack it if you want, but it deals so much damage that it's too risky to try and attack it. But after each attack, you have so much time to strike back, there's no point in adding that cover your face mechanic. All it does is making the fight longer, which is not a great thing, because making a fight longer is one thing, but if the fight isn't super fun, there's no point in that. Like, I appreciate the time it gives you to recover, but since the fight isn't very tense, even without that, it's not really needed, you know? In a remake, the frog should have 2 movesets. One when it's protected by its skin and one without it. My idea is that when it's protected, it's going to throw super great attacks at you, and so you focus on the defensive, dodging the attacks, and then when it doesn't have its skin, the attacks are weaker, which means you have more time to try and hit its face. And this way we would be able to keep the tension while making the fight harder. Now, lore-wise, why wouldn't the frog cover its face at all times? One idea I have is that maybe the frog could become blind if it covers its face, so it tries hitting you super hard all around with its face covered up, and since it's not able to kill you, it uncovers its face to try and see you, and to try and hit you after that. That could be a good explanation, I think. Now, overall, I like the area, but having to fight the same guys over and over again, and I said that exact sentence in this video over and over again as well, it's so annoying and it's very frustrating. So please reduce the number of enemies or add more variation to them. Instead of 3 enemies, you put 6 different enemies, and in that way you don't have to fight the same enemies all over again, you know, because you divide the numbers by 2. I like the boss, especially the design, but the one mechanic it has is badly executed here. The boss isn't bad, but it's not great, and it's not, I wouldn't call it good, it's not quite there to be called good, honestly. Outside of that, atmosphere is great, visually, sound design is good. I can't give it more than 6 out of 10 because of the enemies, but honestly it's not that bad of an area. And it's also pretty long, which, you know, I said in previous videos that areas being too short was the weak point of Dark Souls 2, and here it's not the case for once. But unfortunately, when you make an area longer, you also need to add more variations to the enemy types, which is not the case here, so I'm giving it 6 out of 10. Anyway, thank you for watching, I'll see you around. Bye!